Hi students, Assalamu alaikum. Today we are going to talk about paraphrasing. Since we have done the poem Daffodils, so definitely the question arises how to paraphrase the stanza. First we need to understand what actually paraphrasing is. Paraphrase means to express the meaning of something, written or spoken, using different words, especially to achieve a greater clarity. So hopefully this is clear. Paraphrasing means to express the meaning of something written or spoken using different words. The words which are used in the original text, you are not supposed to reuse them. Okay. So, what is paraphrasing? Restating or explaining something in your own words. Now, tips for paraphrasing. The first tip goes for creative writing, where you don't have the written text in front of you. So there you have to picture the action to help restate or paraphrase the action. Now this is for the creative writing where you don't have any written material in front of you. So there you have to picture the action to help restate or rephrase or paraphrase the action. Now if you have poetry or prose in front of you, this tip is for that one. You have to break down long sentences so that they can be paraphrased or put into your own words. If the lines are long one, break them down into shorter sentences. Okay. Now, next point is paraphrasing helps you read poetry. Now, this is very important point. Poems often they contain figurative language, as we have discussed different figures of speech, similes, metaphors, personification, alliteration, and there are many other figures of speech. So remember that these are words used imaginatively instead of literally. They have the imaginative meaning. They don't have the literal meaning. The words, like if simile is used, literally you don't mean. That is only the supposed meaning of that sentence or that line of poetry. So you need to understand, you have to separate the figurative language from the literal meaning. So next is, what does a paraphrase include? Now, a paraphrase includes the meaning of the author's word, but it is simpler. You are going to rephrase or paraphrase the words of the speaker or the words of the writer or the poet, but you are going to use simple words instead of using complicated words as used in the original text. Now, for example, this is a line of poetry, okay, or lines of poetry. Blue were her eyes as the fairy flags, her cheeks like the dawn of the day. Now, details in these lines are her eyes were blue, her cheeks were red. Now, when you have to paraphrase, now see here you have broken these lines of poetry into sentences. Her eyes were blue, her cheeks were red. Now, while you will rephrase or paraphrase these lines, they can be paraphrased in these words. She had blue eyes and red cheeks. Now, here you have used the paraphrasing techniques where you have not used the original text, but you have rephrased whatever the poet has said in your own words. Now, next one is, next example, I celebrate myself and sing myself. These are the original lines from a poem. I celebrate myself and I sing myself, and what I assume you shall assume. For every atom belonging to me, as good belongs to you. Now, see, very nice line. Now, if you look at these lines, I, if you will write down these lines in smaller sentences, they'll be written like this: I celebrate myself, I sing myself. What I assume, you shall assume. Every atom belonging to me, as good belongs to you. Now, this you have written in smaller sentences. Now, if you have to rephrase or paraphrase these sentences, how you will do? I celebrate myself and share my joy with you. What is mine is also yours. So this would be the paraphrasing of these lines. How you should paraphrase or when you must paraphrase. Picture the action and describe what you see in your own words. This is for creative writing. Okay, if you don't have the uh, lines in front of you, if you don't have the prose or poetry in front of you, there you are going to picture that event. You are going to create images in your mind. Break down long sentences into smaller parts and put those into your own words. Before paraphrasing, break down the details in smaller sentences. Then make it simple but keep all the original ideas there. For paraphrasing, keep the original but make it simple. Okay. Now here I have one example from the poem Daffodils. The stanza is given over here. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Now see all the words in red. These are the difficult words. Okay, these are difficult words. When you rephrase or paraphrase this stanza, you are not going to use these words. You are going to replace all these words which are highlighted or which are underlined over here or which are written in red. All these words or phrases you are going to replace in your paraphrasing. Since paraphrasing is restating in simple words, so you are not going to use the same words which are used in the original text, because paraphrasing means expressing the meaning using different words, okay, to achieve clarity. Now, if you look at paraphrasing of this stanza, I have done. In this stanza, the poet says that one day he walked aimlessly. Now, instead of wandered, I have used walked aimlessly, just like a cloud that roams around. Now, instead of floats, I have used the word roams around over valleys and mountains. Instead of vales, I've used word valleys, and instead of hills, I've used mountains. The poet uses a simile lonely as a cloud to compare himself with a cloud. Now, if figurative language is used, you have to uh, explain it for not explain it, but you have to give the hint, okay, that how the poet has used figurative language. Then all at once can be replaced with one word, that is suddenly. All at once is a phrase and you'll replace it with suddenly. He saw a large number of bright daffodils which grew beside the lake under the trees. Instead of beneath the trees, you will use under the trees, and daffodils were waving and tossing in cool wind. See, fluttering and dancing, instead of fluttering, you have used waving and tossing. Now, here, 4 R's are very important in paraphrasing. 4 R's: reword, rearrange, realize, and recheck. Now we'll see whether we have reword. Can you replace any words in with the synonyms? Have we replaced? Yes, we have replaced wandered, we have replaced vales, we have replaced hills, we have replaced all at once, crowd, golden. So we have used this first R, reword. We have the first rule of paraphrasing. First R we have used. Second R says rearrange. Can you move some words or phrases around? Yes, now we'll see. Yes, now see, the poet says in the first line, I wandered lonely as a cloud, and we have rearranged the word and we have written in this stanza, the poet says that one day he walked aimlessly just like a cloud that roams around over valleys and mountains. So we have used the second four. We have rearranged the ideas. Third R says realize. Realize means some information, names or dates can't be changed. Now we will see whether we have used this one. Yes. Suddenly he saw large number of bright daffodils. We have not replaced daffodils. We cannot use any other flower's name, any other flower, like we didn't use roses, we didn't use lilies, we didn't use sunflowers, or we didn't use daisies or poppies. We have used the original word daffodil because daffodils cannot be replaced. So we have used the third R, that is realize some information, names, dates, or titles cannot be changed. And what we can't change over here, the name of daffodils. Next is the last R is recheck. Did you include the important information? Does it make sense? Yes. Now we need to recheck whether we have included all the important information which was used in the original stanza. Yes, we have used all the important information and we have written it in our own and simple words without leaving any of the important information. So these are the 4 R's that will help you in paraphrasing. Reword, replace the words with their synonyms, rearrange, don't use uh, poetic devices which are used in the stanza. Poetic devices mean don't rewrite in the same format, okay? You have to write in prose form when you are paraphrasing the stanza. Then realize you have to keep certain information as it is, like we have not changed and we cannot change daffodils with any other flowers. Okay, recheck. We have to recheck whether we have included all the important information, and we have seen we have not left anything in this paraphrasing of the stanza. And paraphrasing should be of the same length as is the length of the stanza. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 lines are there in the stanza, and we have paraphrased in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 lines. So, paraphrasing should have the same length as is the length of the stanza. It might be more or less, one line more, one line less, okay? That is acceptable. So this was all about paraphrasing, restating the poet's ideas in your own words. This is how you paraphrase these stanzas when the question is asked in the question paper in examination. Read the following stanza and paraphrase it in your own words. So this is how you paraphrase the stanza. Hopefully you would have understood. Thank you so much for listening.